What's up, guys? Jason here, and you're watching Maine Freshwater Exploration Going Deep. This week's video, we're going to head back up to one of my favorite places to go, Moosehead Lake, and we're going to be up in the North Bay, over into Northwest Cove in the Seboomook area. This is a spot on the lake I've never been to before, haven't done any exploring. Of course, like a lot of the areas on the lake, tons of history in this spot. Thought it'd be a great place to go check out. Let's get into it, guys. Let's see what's going on down there. One really cool thing that I saw when exploring around where the old steamship wharf used to be was this old wheel set that would have been used on rail cars. After doing some research, it looked to be one that would have been used on the old Seboomook Lake and St. John Railroad in the early 1900s. If you look at this old picture, you see a steam engine and other wheel sets stacked up on a scow that had been towed up from Greenville to this area here so that it could be brought up into the woods to where the railroad was going to be constructed. I talk a little bit more about this at the end of the video, but it's neat to see this old picture where you can see these wheel sets stacked up and be able to match the shape and design of the wheel set in the water to the ones in the picture. thank you guys for watching the video. It was neat to get to a new area of the lake that I hadn't been to before. This trip really uncovered some history that I hadn't even heard of. I didn't realize that the Seboomook Lake and St. John Railroad even existed or was even a thing till I did some research, and then looking at old pictures and seeing that steam engine and those rail sets stacked up on that scow. I'm like, that's exactly what that is. If you follow Northwood's history, I'm sure familiar with the ghost trains up in the Allagash and by Chamberlain Lake and Eagle Lake. And this is something different. The premise of this was to be able to connect that St. John River drainage and all the lumber that was there with the West Branch of the Penobscot, to be able to filter that lumber down and into the river, to be able to tie in with all the other log drives that were already utilizing that route. And the St. John River flowing north, trying to use that river course wasn't going to work for what needed to happen. So I think it was 18 miles of rail was going to be constructed from 5th St. John Pond area down to Seboomook Lake. And Seboomook Lake connects down through into the West Branch. But this area here in Northwest Cove, this is where all the supplies, the equipment, the workers, really just the major transportation and supply hub to back an operation like this. So you got the picture of that steam engine and those rail sets that got towed up the entire 40 miles of the lake from Greenville. I bet you that was a pretty interesting trip. I couldn't find anything about it, and I'm sure it probably exists somewhere, an account of that. But I wonder how long that took. I can't imagine that was really fast going, and you're puttering along, you're out in the middle of that lake. All of a sudden, some wind kicks up, and you're towing a train and trucks, rail sets down or up the lake rather. I bet you that was one of many stories those guys could have told back in those days. What adventures. I think about stuff like that a lot, doing the videos and reviewing the history and looking stuff up. But especially when I'm out there on the water and thinking back that, all the steamships that would have been running up and down the lake. You look at that old picture and to be able to see, one of those, I'm sure it's one of those rail sets that's on that scow sitting there on the bottom right there. It's been there since that time. Could have happened right after that picture was taken. And just I say it with the bottles. It's neat to be able to look at stuff that would have been from those olden times, and to look back at our history. And it's neat to see something a little bit different that obviously has been in the water a long time, rusted right up, but you can still tell exactly what it is. Did some other treasure hunting in and around the Northwest Cove and the top end of North Bay, and then there was a little bit down from Rockwood that I had done on a couple other trips, like that Kineo bottle and things like that. So this was kind of a compilation of a couple different trips that I had done earlier on this spring. Really cool adventure. It was a lot of fun, being able to head up into a fairly remote area of the lake, and being able to take a look at that and see a piece of the lake's history up in that far northwest corner was pretty neat. Definitely a fun adventure. Well, all right, guys, I'll do it for this one. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate you guys' support, and we'll see you on the next video.